Today I will be showing y'all cards I bought from people off Reddit to see if I can grade them and make a profit. Now last time I did this, I did eBay, and while it was technically a success, I only had 1 out of 5 cards get a 10. Will I have better luck this time around? Let's find out. Okay, so let's go over the cards I have this time. And as you guys will see, it is a much cooler selection than the first time around. We first up have this beautiful Japanese Rainbow Vileplume GX. This has been actually a grail of mine. More preferably English, but Japanese is totally fine too. This is one that I actually genuinely really want in a 10, and if it does 10, it is going into the PC and it is never leaving. Next up, another huge one and another big one for me that I would really like to PC. We've got the Reds Pikachu. Very, very cool card. Always been a big fan of this card. Next up, we have the Reshiram and Zekrom Celebrations cards. These are super cool too. I think I would only keep them in the event that they both tend, because I just think that would be a really cool thing to have. We'll obviously be sending these in order so that if they do both tend, they will be sequential. That is important when doing stuff with cards that have to do with more than just one card. You want to try to have them sequential, which for people who don't know, sequential just means the cert numbers on the PSA cards will follow each other. So let's say this one ended in a 6 and then this one ended in a 7. They would be sequential because they were the two graded right after each other. Next one, we have this really unique and cool Japanese Alolan Marowak, a cracked ice variant, as you can see. Super random card that I just stumbled across one time, and I'm a huge fan of Alolan Marowak, so I just picked it up anyway. Once I got it and was looking at it more, realized how clean it was and thought it would be really cool to grade. This is another one that would absolutely go into the PC if it tend. We then have this amazing Lieutenant Surge from Mega Brave or Mega Symphonia, can't remember which one. Such a cool artwork on it. I thought it was really sick. It's also the cheapest card of this lot, so wasn't super worried on trying it out with this card. This is probably also one that could be PC'd if it got a 10. It's one of my more favorite trainer artworks for sure. Next up, we got the beautiful Umbreon from Trainer Gallery. Just a really cool card. Just happened to find a really clean copy. This is actually one of the few that I probably wouldn't PC if it got a 10. Not super high interest in it. If it does 10, obviously I can consider it, but would be nice to recoup some of the money spent on these cards because this was definitely a bigger spending pile than the last episode of this. So another really cool card. Excited to get it graded. And then our final one is I believe it's from Dream League. It's the Arceus full art, which is an XY promo in English. Such a sick card. So cool looking in Japanese with the silver borders. And I was just really excited to have this. If this were to 10, I think I would PC it too. It's just a really cool card. So yeah, you guys can see I went with a much more unique variety this time and also did about 50-50 Japanese and English. Makes it more enticing. Last time I only did English, so we'll see if doing Japanese helps, which I presume it will because Japanese does just tend to grade better in general. So now let's do the actual pre-grading before sending them in. Make sure that all of them are worthy of the final cut. So firstly, we have the beautiful Vileplume GX. Obviously, I've already pre-graded all of these myself, so I can just point out what I've seen on the cards from what I've already looked at. This one is actually insanely clean. Centering is really, really good on this card. Absolutely no whitening. I honestly don't see how this doesn't get a 10. So my prediction for this card is a 10. Makes me really excited because this is very much going to be a PC card if it tends. So now let's get it prepped for grading. For people who don't know, you want to start by putting it into a penny sleeve, and then you follow it by putting it into a semi-rigid. My advice on these for putting them in smoothly, I like to put one finger on and spread it out like so. Get it to a point where you can keep it spread out like that, and then just slide the card right in. and it slides in very easily when you do that. That's how it should look for when it's ready to be sent to get graded. Make sure to put them in as clean of ones as possible. Next up, we've got our big boy, the Reds Pikachu. This one I am a little weary about. Keep in mind, this time around, this is like 6 months after the first time of me doing this. I am much more experienced. I understand much better how to 10 cards, and I just am more knowledge just in general, like outside of the fact of grading cards, but I've done multiple grading submissions at this point, so I know when things aren't gonna 10, and this one has me scared because there is this tiny, tiny black dot on it, as you can see, and then there is the tiniest smidge of whitening down there, and I feel that they are more anal on Japanese cards because of them being better quality. They expect them to be in good quality. Outside of those two things, this card is perfect, and I think if it only had one of those instead of both, it would very easily 10, because everything else about it looks really good. But because of having both of those things, I actually think I'm not going to send this one, unfortunately. This is a card that I want in a 10 so badly, but I'm just thinking realistically, sending this to just get a 9 is not going to do much for me in the long run. This card itself could fund purchasing the entire submission. I think it's much more worth it to pass on it for now, and that's a message to you guys too. If you have a card you absolutely love, you really want in your PC as a 10, and you find a clean copy of it, and you see very slight problems with it, like I just did with this one, do not let bias allow you to still submit the card. If you see there's problems and you know on another card that you don't like as much, you wouldn't send it because of that, treat this card the same way. I hope that helps for people. We'll know what I'm sending off to get graded and what I'm not, because the ones that are not will stay in top loaders. The ones that are will be in the semi-rigids. I was very bummed out when I saw that on the card. That's just how it goes. Sometimes you don't luck out. You can only see so much through a phone, right? When they send you close-ups of the card, sometimes you just don't catch stuff like that. But once you look at it with your eye and, you know, a light in person, you catch those kinds of things, and it's better to catch it before getting sent to be graded than afterwards, so glad I caught it. Okay, the next ones up are the Reshiram and Zekrom. These ones can be hard to see stuff on the front just because of the pattern that is on these cards. If you guys can see, the left border is definitely bigger than the right. These two cards I am very 50-50 with, because for the Zekrom, it's the top border is much bigger than the bottom, and you can even see that on the back as well, very well. On the back of this one, you can't really see it as well. I mean, you can definitely tell this one is thinner than this, but not by much. Outside of that, there is no problem with these cards. The corners look great. There is no whitening on the cards whatsoever, so I'm going to take a risk with the centering on these two cards just because they're not as expensive as, for example, the Reds Pikachu. And just for the chance to get them sequential, I think would be really cool. Going to take a stab at it on these ones. Sometimes it's okay to take risks if you're okay with it, especially considering that these are much more affordable cards. I am okay with taking the risk on these cards, even though the goal of this video, you know, is to get all 10s. My estimation is that these will receive 9s, unfortunately. But even with them being 9s, they would still have a premium as sequentials, just because of being sequential. So that'll add a little bit onto it. I don't know how much, to be honest. We will kind of find out. This is my first time doing cards that can be sequential, so I thought I would just do it either way, learn more about sequential submissions, and see how it goes. So these two are continuing to add to the grade pile, making it 3 out of 4 cards so far going to get graded. Okay, next one up is the Alolan Marowak Cracked Ice, which I told you guys in the beginning, this card was insanely clean. There is like not one single problem that I've seen with it. No whitening, centering is perfect, corners are great, no dents, no nothing. This is a for sure candidate to get graded. My guess on this one is very much PSA 10. This is the one I would be very much shocked by if it did not get a 10. So very excited for this one, as it would most definitely be one being kept in my PC. It's also a very random niche one. I don't even think this artwork is in English, so really cool one. Next one up is the Lieutenant Surge SIR, or SAR in Japanese. The person I bought this from even said that this would have gone into his grading pile if it weren't for the centering. As you can see, the right side is much heavier than the left side, but I don't think it's too crazy of a difference. So it also has the tiniest of whitening there, but insanely minimal. Would not knock it down for that. I'm willing to take the risk on it because it, as I said, is the cheapest one of the submissions, so won't really affect much whether I do or don't. Just adds, you know, another one to the submission pile. My guess is that it'll get a 9, but I'm hopeful that it can get a 10. I will say though, out of every Japanese card I've ever submitted, I have never gotten below a 10. Every single Japanese card I've ever submitted has gotten a 10, so hopefully this isn't the start of breaking that streak. Next one up is the Umbreon Trainer Gallery. This one, like the Marowak, is insanely clean as well. Centering looks amazing. Corners are perfect. There is absolutely no whitening anywhere. For an English card, this is like the cream of the crop. This looks amazing considering it's an English card. Very excited to send this one to get graded. I am very confident this comes back a 10. My guess for this is very much a 10. If it were to get a 9, I'm convinced that PSA does in fact control the pop, because this is a pristine card. Last but not least, we have this beautiful Arceus Dream League card, which I was insanely excited to get graded, and lo and behold, when I started looking at it, if you can see, I don't know, yes, it'll pick up on the camera in some lights. Up in this top corner, there, you see it, there is scratch marks on it. I am so glad I caught that, because that is not always easy to catch, and that very much is pretty big surface damage that would at least give it a 9. Could have even knocked it down to an 8 or 7, and if I hadn't noticed that, gotten this card back, and seen that it was like an 8 or 7, I would have been absolutely stumbled and questioning what went wrong with it, because outside of that, this card looks perfect. As much as I would love to grade it, that mark will absolutely not give it a 10. So, but that's why you do the pre-grading, to check and see if there's any problems and get them out of the submission before you send it off, rather than finding out the problems afterwards. So after the pre-grading, we ended up with 6 cards, 3 Japanese, 3 English, so made it a better balance anyway. Funny that the 2 cards that aren't getting sent are Japanese cards, because usually, obviously, English is much easier to rule out. Obviously, these are very borderline. These could have easily been taken out, but I wanted there to be enough cards for it to at least be a decent submission. We got 6 cards, did 5 last time, and the guess right now, based off what I said, I would expect it come back with 3 10s and 3 9s, but hopeful that any of those 9s could be 10s. So time to submit these off. As you guys know, last time it took 5 months to complete this video because of how long PSA took to get it back, but that is the longest a submission's ever taken for me. Normally it takes like anywhere from month and a half to like 2 months, 2.5, 3 at the most. So very hopeful this time around it'll only take about 2 months or so. As much as it sucks that I can't just snap my fingers and pick this up, it will be like that for you guys. So I will be back once they are graded and I have the results. If you're enjoying this video, I'd really appreciate a like on it. And if you're a first-time watcher and haven't seen my content before, I basically do content all throughout the Pokemon realm. It is pretty much a different concept every single video, so if you enjoy stuff like that, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you here. Alright, y'all, just a little over 2 months later, the time has arrived. The cards have finally returned, This was actually one of the faster ones that I've done. The last 2 submissions now that I've done through GameStop have only taken right around 2 months. So it really seems like now that they've been doing it for a decent while that they're starting to really get in a groove with it and really do a good job with turnaround time. I do have one big complaint though this time around that was new for me. This time when I went in to grab the cards, the worker had me open the bag of cards and look at every single one and wanted me to tell them that I verify that they look good. I was like so annoyed because I was like purposely going to not look at the grades this time around and be surprised with you guys, and that had never been a thing before. So yeah, I was really confused by that. Let me know if you guys have ran into that too and what you think about it. Because they like told me, they were like, I just need you to verify that they're good. And I just like looked at the bag. I was like, yep, there's 6 cards. It looks good. And she was like, no, I need you to like open it up and look at them. And I was like, since when? I don't know. It was just really weird to me, but that's my only qualm with it. Let's get into how it ended up going. Okay, so we got our 6 cards here. Unfortunately, I obviously already know. Kind of blows. That's whatever. Still a surprise to all of you, of course. First off, in the pile, we have the Umbreon, which this one I was gonna see either way because they have them in clear bags now instead of the old bags that they were using. So she just set it on the counter and I just saw it right away. But it did get a 10. So that was definitely a nice thing to see, of course. Before I thought that I wasn't going to ruin seeing them all on camera live. But yeah, it got a 10. Super clean card. Don't really have anything attachment to Umbreon. This wasn't one that I was going to necessarily PC, so probably sell it off. Definitely got a good profit on that first card. The next one is the Lieutenant Surge Japanese SIR, which I can't remember if I had said in the intro part, but I was a little worried about the centering of the card. The person I even bought it from said that they would have sent it themselves if it weren't for the centering, and it did in fact get the 9, and I'm very much assuming because of that exact problem. So definitely did not make profit on that. That one, most Japanese cards you strictly have to get 10s for it to profit, very especially with modern cards. All in all, I mean, it's an artwork I really like, and it's not going to be really worth anything, so probably just going to go into my PC. Next up, ooh, really cool one. This is a Japanese exclusive cracked ice variation of one of the Alolan Marowak cards, which this one in Japanese is from Ultra Shiny GX, and this card did in fact get a 10. I'm like pretty positive when I pre-graded this, I said that this card was extremely clean, and I saw no reason for it to not get a 10. Oh yeah, this makes the first ever Japanese card that I've graded that didn't get a 10, which is kind of crazy. I didn't even think about that. Let me put them into piles actually. Got our 10s and our 9s. So yeah, this Marowak got a 10. I honestly have no idea the price on it. Obviously you guys will see it on the pop-up. This is a PC one for sure. I am a huge fan of Marowak, especially the Alolan version. I remembered picking up this card just as a niche pickup, thought it was a really unique card. I honestly don't even know if there's gonna be prices on it. So yeah, we shall see. It doesn't really matter anyway for my own sake because it's getting PC'd, but for the sake of the video and seeing how we did, price does matter. Okay, next up we've got the first of 2 Zekrom and Reshiram celebration cards. As I said in the pre-grading, it's really hard to tell with these cards because of how glittery and bright the foil is on these cards. I did, however, think that they did look pretty clean to me. Kind of want to like show them both at the same time. This one also honestly looked pretty clean to me, but unfortunately they got 9s. Oh well, I did send them as sequential on purpose just because if they got 10s would have been even cooler, and I sent them in the way that they're like, you know, side by side like they should be. So would have been cool to have them as 10s. They're still sequential as 9s. Don't think I'll have made money on these ones, but that sequential factor does add a premium sometimes, so that could add a tiny bit more into the pricing. And then the final card, the one that I wanted to 10 the most, actually. It's a card that I just very, very much like. This is one of the like rare ones that I think looks better in the rainbow variation compared to its regular counterpart. And for whatever reason, I feel like this one in specific in rainbow pattern was done a lot better than a lot of the other cards. But yeah, it's just a beautiful card. I'm not like a Vileplume fan or anything. I just have always really, really liked this artwork. Couldn't pass it up when I saw it on Reddit. It was an extremely clean copy, and it did in fact get a 10. This is the one that I was really wanting in a 10. If this was the only one to get a 10, I still would have been happy. So super, super happy to have gotten this one. That is definitely going into the PC. So, I mean, 3 10s, 3 9s, not too bad. 2 of the 10s were Japanese, 1 being English, and then 2 of the English 9s, 1 being Japanese. I think that's kind of expected. Japanese, obviously, 10s to grade better. I was actually very surprised that I got my first ever non-Japanese 10, but I mean, there's a first for everything. Do feel like I remember mentioning that the centering was just a tad off. I just wasn't entirely sure if it would be enough to actually deter it from a 10. Okay, y'all, we have made it to the final results. And in total, there was 6 cards bought, 3 got 9s, 3 got 10s, and I made a profit of $315. Definitely much better than the first time around. As you guys can see, I've clearly gained a lot of experience. I also noticed when editing this that I was correct on what every single card was going to grade. Still took the risks with the ones that got 9s because I knew that potentially they could 10, and if they did, that would be really cool. But yeah, I was 6 for 6 on what the grades were going to be. And obviously the big profits of the video come from the Umbreon and Marowak. I was unaware, but that Marowak is a pop 24 and a 10, which just makes it even cooler to me. For people who don't know, that basically just means there's only 24 of them in a PSA 10 in the world. And just for everyone curious, for pricing all of the cards, I just went off of either eBay most recent sold or eBay lowest listed if there wasn't a recent sale. But yeah, that's the end of it. I'd say pretty good overall, and there's a lot of cards that I actually want to keep for myself from this one, so really excited with how it went. I thought it went super good. Let me know what you guys thought about it down in the comments. And I'm obviously getting a much better eye at grading for stuff, so next time around we'll definitely be just sending ones that I absolutely think will 10 for maximized profit. And also let me know if you guys want to see more of these videos. I actually have some other grading video ideas that aren't necessarily profit, but still are grading videos. So yeah, let me know if you guys just enjoy graded videos in general. And yeah, that's all for this episode. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.